And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. Already 6:30, believe it or not, as this morning is rising. Right now we're sitting at 62 as you wake up. Today we should see a high right at 93. Things start to change over the next 48 hours. Have we talked about this yet? Tomorrow we're going to see 97. Saturday, be ready for this, it'll be scorching 100. Our first time of the year to reach that 3 digits. Boy. And then Sunday's not much better, 97. And we'll watch those heat indices. Could get rough from time to time as we get ready for all of this weekend. So far, it's going to be our hottest weekend yet. Be prepared for it. And again, as always, we talk about this, and I've said it many, many times. If you work outside, make sure to take breaks. Don't overdo it. Heat strokes happen, and they can slip up on you before you know what has happened to you. And we definitely don't want anything like that going on. So how do you feel? Hope good as we start our day together. We'll be right back as we'll go now to Collinsville. Let's get a good word. Need those. Let's go find out what he has to say today as we begin it.
Proverbs 10:24 says, "What the wicked dreads will overtake him. What the righteous desire will be granted." Yet another comparison and contrast showing the difference between someone who is lost and far from God and someone who has been redeemed and is in right relationship with God. The contrast here is between dread and desire. A person who is far from God has much to dread. The idea of death and what happens when we die can lead to overwhelming thoughts and dread. The idea of loneliness and the continued void in their heart can lead to heartache and a sense of emptiness. Some people may not have any worries about finances or material things, but if they do not have a relationship with Jesus Christ, even everyday living can be a dread. The righteous, on the other hand, have nothing to dread and everything to look forward to. The writer is not speaking of someone who is righteous simply in their behavior. He's speaking of someone who is in right standing, right relationship with God. A child of God. Because of what God has done for them and because of all that God promises, a righteous person will receive the desires of his heart. Because God has changed their heart, the desires of the heart will be more in line with the things and the ways of God. Thank God we can live in great anticipation of good things and not live dreading what life has to bring. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. I'm just so proud I know what day of the week it is. I do now. For whatever reason, all day yesterday I kept thinking it was Thursday. No, tomorrow's Friday, and it is today. I got confused. Man alive. Well, we all get off tracks like that. I don't know what went on yesterday that made me think it was a Thursday, but all day I had to shake that off. Today we are into Thursday. We're nearing the end of the week. Glad to have that right around the corner. So I saw this the other night. What do y'all think? Does a father's intuition of love take over regardless, and he's going to do it? What I'm talking about is Joe Biden. If you remember a few weeks ago in a speech, he said that no matter whatever happened to Hunter, he would not pardon him. During an interview yesterday, the White House refused to answer if Biden would pardon. In the end, I would say his daddy will pardon him. That's my gut. He's got that power as a president to do that, and I think that will happen in the end. That's just my 2 cents on that. Now, I can't help but age limits. This is the first time I've seen this mentioned. North Dakota are putting it to voters, or trying to do this, to where they would put age limits on congressional candidates in the state. Is there a time to do that, to where after you reach the age of whatever that number is, that you shouldn't run for any office? Here's my argument to that. I've run up on some people that were in their 50s and their 60s that you think, whoa, boy. I've run up on some people that were in their 80s that were just as spry as somebody that was 40. You wouldn't even know their age. So does age, maybe? I don't know. We'll let the voters decide that, I guess. But each one of us reach an age to where it's time to retire from whatever job it is. You get a little rundown from it, whatever. But y'all know what I mean. I've met people that are as active in their 80s as somebody who's 50. See them every day. They're out there. So is that fair? I don't know the answer to that. As we look at this, we go to University of, we make headlines. I didn't even realize this. USM, a football player, has been fatally shot, 21 years old. Marcus Daniels, I think it was on Tuesday, found in an apartment complex, wounded, rushed to a hospital, and was deceased. USM. A lot of headlines coming in from Mississippi making it there. I didn't know this was a thing. A Georgia town is fighting a company. They're looking at putting a plant there. You go, well, the industry is good. You would think so. But it's a monkey plant where they would breed monkeys. And the argument would be that these animals would be sent off eventually for testing and all. I don't know what they would be used for, but that's what the story insinuates. Half the town goes, "Nuh-uh, we don't want it." All I keep thinking about is Jumanji. I don't know. I've never put a lot of thought into anything like that. That's.
They gonna have any orangutans? I'd like to have them.
You want an orangutan? Yeah, every which way but loose. Name him Clyde. I don't want nothing that can do that. Let's see what else is happening here. I'm shocked that this hasn't happened before somewhere, but the United Kingdom is set to make a ban on energy drinks to anybody that's 16 and younger. There is a possibility that could follow to the United States, but the UK looking at banning those energy drinks. Is it abused? Possibly. I know I can't handle them. It's too much for me. It'll make me do backflips. It's just too strong for me. Biden will not be there today, but Trump is sending a replacement, a stand-in for him since he's doing something else today. But the top CEOs of America will meet today. A private meeting with these. Biden is at the G7 meeting. Trump will be there. This is a monthly meeting, I think, or once every few months where they all meet. It's 200 of them. At least 100 is expected to be there. Trump will be there to speak. Biden is sending someone. Pennsylvania man. This you hear about this often. People who are injured in an accident or somewhat put into a hospital and then they die years later. Pennsylvania is where this all happened 38 years ago. Mistaken identity is what they call it. A man was on a street corner and was attacked with a bat. His life was ruined. He was never to do anything. He had to be put into a nursing home. He died this week of those injuries from 38 years ago, so they will now list this as a murder. They have no idea who it is, who did it. They never solved who attacked the man. But it will go down in the record books as a murder. A sad day. And awful that someone had to live their life for 38 years that way. For no reason. These, we had talked about this not long ago on a local level. Somebody got sick from those gummies. Y'all know what I'm talking about that have stuff in them. CDC is warning of a severe illness linked to mushroom chocolates and gummies. That don't even sound good, does it? So watch that. They're recalling that. We'll try to post that later so you know exactly what that is. But that gummy craze is everywhere with the marijuana and this and that. I don't know. I don't partake of any of that, so there it is. We'll leave that be. Trash, litter, zoos is not a good thing. And here's the reason why. In zoo, an antelope choked to death on a wrapper. They couldn't do anything. They tried to save it. If you're ever in a zoo, we visited zoos. They're always hot and tough, but kids love to go. But never drop your wrappers too close because, well, those animals are hungry. And they got choked on the wrapper and died. Tragic, isn't it? Well, it did happen there. There was a fire Dublin is where it was. The fire breaks out. The news crew show up. First guy walks up. "Pardon me, sir, did you see what happened?" "Yeah, it did." Guess who it was? It was Fonzie. Henry Winkler happened to be staying there, one of the first out, and he's describing what's going on, and everybody's looking at him going, "I think I know this guy." And it was the Fonz. He and his family were there staying, and he was praising how well the firefighters, and I think after the interview ended, they discovered who it was. Pretty neat thing. Really, really nice. And he did praise those who helped. Always good to see that.
Yeah.
Up and coming, we're going to check that forecast for you next, find out how your day is going to begin, how the week's going to end over the next couple of weeks. We'll do that now as we get this day underway.
Here at Meridian Cycles, we're your local authorized dealer for all your Polaris, Can-Am, Honda, and Suzuki side-by-sides, four-wheelers, and motorcycles. And we service everything we sell. And for you do-it-yourselfers, we have a very knowledgeable parts department to help you with all your needs. Come see us at 80 Highway 19 North right here in Meridian, or call at 601-485-8700. Come see us.
Just got a message if you're going to be in the neighborhood. I don't think it's horrible or anything, but I-59 around mile marker 126, there's a small fender bender there at this point. Be careful. Again, that's I-59. It'll be south of here, Clark County, coming this way. Mile marker 126 vehicle there. So be careful at that exit there. We'll hope to find out more about that in a little bit, more details on it. Let's look at radar this morning. It's not bad at all as we go to Honda Meridian radar. Look at this. All clear across Mississippi, Alabama, even Louisiana and Georgia clear. We got to go to Gainesville to even find any fog. It's pretty thick there. Some storms down around Sarasota. As we go up and take a look here, more fog in the Carolinas this morning. Franklin, look at that. If you're going to be up here in Tennessee as well, a little bit there around Morristown, Knoxville. All of that there. So fog in those areas if you're traveling across the U.S. as we look at that. All right, let's get into our forecast now and find out a little bit more about what to expect today and what the weather's going to be doing.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Our record highs and record lows, 1963. It was 101 today. That was a warm one, wasn't it? Back in 03, and I mean 1903, it was 52 degrees today. Sort of a chilly day compared to that. It was nice this morning at 62. As we look today, it should be 93 to 94 Hot Falls as we go to Columbus Air Force Base. A little cooler there across Mississippi State. And by the time we get through Greenwood to the river, about 91. As we go down through Yazoo and Vicksburg, we'll hit 89 if you were to land there in Natchez, Mississippi, about 89. As we go east into Bama, we see 94. It's going to be a ditto of Mississippi. Look at this, warmer in Tuscaloosa today, 96. Birmingham, 95 also. Some warm weather there to the east there. And as you'll see here, this is why. That northern portion of Alabama, even a little bit hotter than it is here in the Meridian area. Tupelo, those areas also will be warmer as well throughout the south. Now let's look at our 7-day forecast. Here's what we've got. Today, they've changed that a little bit there. We should be somewhere hitting around 93. About 1 degree difference in that. It's not much. But look at these temperatures over the weekend. As we end Friday, it should be 97 tomorrow. No chances of rain. Saturday, a scorching 100. Slight chance of rain will move into an afternoon forecast on Sunday, but still 97. Monday, it decreases about 10 degrees. We hit 89. It'll hold steady for at least midweek as the rain moves in. 50% there on Monday, 40, 30 by Wednesday. And as we move on toward the end of the week, we're down to 10% a week from today. Mid-90s as we hold steady above 90 all the way through the 27th of June. And it will be the 4th of July before we know it. That is coming, and it is coming fast. What's happening with the fishing forecast today? Perfect time began at 6:30 this morning. It'll last till about 8:30 today, so if you're already headed there, it's not bad as we look at Chet's Paint and Body. Also tonight, you'll still have daylight, 7 o'clock, 7 until 9. You'll get at least a good hour and 10 minutes of fishing there. Wind's going to be calm, becoming north around 5 miles an hour. Now, a little bit to talk about on the tropics this morning. Let's look at what we've got here. This is going to come across Florida. It's only a 20% chance of bothering anybody, and it'll move off into the Atlantic. There's a 40%. Look at this. Could come up toward Texas. We don't know what will happen here. 40% chance in the next 7 days of something happening here in the Gulf. We're going to watch this. This could be the one that could do something. Our area across the south, we'll watch that starting in Mexico. But it's 7 days out becoming anything at a 40% chance. We'll find out more about that as it develops and slowly moves. Usually, what was it last year was all beginning over in Africa. We got one starting closer to home these days. That's a look at your forecast as we're at 6:46 this morning. We're headed towards 7 o'clock. We've got a great show lined up for you at 7. Won't you join us? It'll be good. We've got all the local headlines and things that are going on in the community. Be a part of it with us. Be here bright and early. I see Slim, how are you today? Good to see you there. Sheila joins us, Pat and Jim Coker. Carl, we'll be back in about 10 minutes and go live with the morning show. Join us, won't you? We'll be here.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners.